Good evening, beloved, and welcome to the First Congregational Church of Crystal Lake Evening Communion Service. It is a delight to be here together. For even though that we are in different locations and gathered around many physical tables, as we gather here, we gather around one table, which is not my table or your table, but the table of Christ. And we know that ever since Christians began to remember Jesus and gather around tables just like this, that they would do so and they would proclaim that they would gather with Christians in all times and places. And so we gather here, not only you and I here together around dining room tables and kitchen tables and outside tables and inside tables, but also gathered at this table are those who are in our hearts but not able to be physically with us, those who have gone before. All of those Christians who are around the world are here at this table where Christ meets us. So, beloved, let us gather our hearts and minds as we worship, perhaps not in the church, but we worship as the church. And today, I thought that we should do this outside, because today is Earth Day. It's the day that we give thanks for this glorious resurrection that God has given us. And so our liturgy today comes from the Reverend Dr. Mary Ludy, who I am deeply grateful for her wonderful words as we break bread, as we share the cup, as we give thanks to God for this beautiful creation. Beloved, let us join together. Let us worship God. Once upon a time, God made a garden, and every creature lived in it happily with God. And we took long walks with God in the cool of the evening, humans and snails, kangaroos and spiders, kittens and larks. And then we sat down with God to eat. And the curled vines gave up their fruit, and the tall golden wheat gave up its grain, and we ate delicious life-giving bread, and we drank deep from the cup of blessing, singing songs under stars until the morning. And the grateful creation was at peace. Ever since, when we honor the earth by eating and drinking with heartfelt thanks, God walks with us once again. God sits with us and eats with us, and our tables become the garden, and all of creation sighs with peace. Come now. Come now, everyone, to this table. Come now, everyone, to this garden that God has planted in the east in Eden. Come and taste and remember how good God is. And beloved, I want to sing a song that maybe some of you know. It's not actually in our hymnal, but it's an old favorite of mine. It was a favorite of my grandmother's and my mother's. And if you know it, sing it along with me. It goes like this. I come to the garden alone, while the dew is still on the roses, and the voice I hear falling on my ear, the Son of God discloses. And he walks with me, and she talks with me, and she tells me I am her own. And the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. He speaks, and the sound of his voice is so sweet, the birds hush their singing, and the birds and the melody that he gave to me within my heart is ringing. And he walks with me, and he talks with me, and he tells me I am his own. And the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. I'll stay in the garden with him, though the night around me is falling. But he bids me go through a voice of woe. His voice to me is calling. And he walks with me, and he talks with me, and he tells me I am his own, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. Beloved, I want to share with you a poem that was written by Sarah R. from A Sanctified Art. It goes like this. It's a reflection from the night in which Jesus broke bread after he had washed his feet that Maundy Thursday so many years ago. After he had washed their feet, Jesus returned to the table. Jesus returned to the table, that simple common space, moving from water and undeserved grace to bread that nourishes and sustains our place, to simple elements, no time to waste. I should have known that there would be water, and of course there would be bread. From the start of the creation, God has tried to keep us fed on bread and roses and love we don't notice. I should have known there would be water, and of course there would be bread. I should have known there would be space at the table for grace, space for nerves and questions and absent confessions, space for me and Elijah and Judas without question. I should have known there would be space, and of course there would be bread, for it started with manna, and all must be fed. For this is my body broken for you 5,000, for you, Israelite nation, for you, child of the covenant, Judas and Peter. This is my body broken for you. That simple phrase, paired with food of the day, makes me human again, nourishes weak spots within. It lifts me up and draws me back in, breathing life into bones that are weary and thin. For it's easy to be so hungry for God that God must appear in the shape of a meal, countering frailty, allowing me to heal. So maybe that's why I come back to this space, because I know God will be here offering grace, and I need that bread in order to feel, in order to see the kingdom revealed. I should have known there would be water, but of course there would be bread. For I am hungry, and all must be fed. Amen. Beloved, if you haven't noticed, I'm not sure where it is where you are, but where I am, the heavens have opened and the rain has begun, and yet, as much as we can, our service will continue. A reading from the book of Job, chapter 12, verses 7 through 10. But ask the animals, and they will teach you, the birds of the air, and they will tell you. Ask the plants of the earth, and they will teach you, and the fish of the sea, and they will declare to you. Who among all of these does not know that the hand of the Lord has done this, and that his hand is the life of every being, and every breath of every human being? Well, beloved, the rain is picking up. And so we come to this table, prepared by God in the beauty of creation. And we remember when Jesus had gathered along the shores of the Sea of Galilee and took the bread, gave thanks to God for it, and broke it. and gave it to his disciples, saying, "This is the bread of life. This is my very body broken for you. Take and eat in remembrance of me." And after supper, Jesus took the cup and gave thanks to God for it, and poured it out and gave it to all who had gathered there, saying, "Beloved, this is a cup of blessing, a cup of a new covenant given to you and to all people for the forgiveness of sins. Take and drink, and when you do, remember me." Beloved, ministering to you in his name, we offer you this cup and this bread. I invite you to continue to share the cup of blessing, to continue to share the bread of life. I hope that you are dry and inside, beloved. Go in peace to serve the Lord. Amen.